Well, the last thing that I want to talk about is iOS 15.4. So this was released when?
Monday.
Monday. Okay, so a few days ago, 3 days ago. And the main the two things that I know about it off the top of my head, Face ID with the mask and
Yeah.
then universal control, right? What else anything else that was like a, banner addition to
Yeah,
this
there's some
update?
other stuff. There's a new Siri voice that was recorded by a member of the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
So it's they like the people who write about it, they call it non-binary, which means it's not explicitly male and not
Yes.
Sort of
explicitly
gender
female.
neutral, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
funny, like when you listen to it, one day it can sound male and one day it can sound female. So it's kind of like right on that line. It's you know, that's interesting. If you want a new voice.
Hmm.
The what else was there? Oh, there's changes to iCloud Keychain. So there's new when you save a password, you can add a note to it, which is cool. So you can add a like kind of behind that
Oh, gotcha.
wall if you have a security question or
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
or,
yeah,
or a
yeah.
separate user ID. You can't create a note, but you can add a note to an existing password. That's cool. It also prompts you now when you save a password without a username, which happens more often than it should, where you're on like a security page or you change your password and it overrides something and saves it to the keychain, but it just saves the password and it doesn't save the username. And it's not always obvious what the username is, so that it'll prompt you now. Do you want to put in a username? So there's those are meaningful changes, but the marquee stuff is absolutely Face ID with the mask and universal control.
So, what exactly is universal control? If you can explain it,
Yeah.
can actually I might throw this to you just because I know Johnny had an article about it and sort of what it means for productivity. So yeah, what is it and what does it mean for productivity?
Well, I haven't used it yet, but basically what it
Wait,
does is,
what?
what's that?
You haven't? You're the
No, I have
iPad
not. I
guy.
have not used it yet. I should because I do have an iPad and my MacBook Pro, whatever. It basically allows you to sort of put an iPad and a recent model Mac together in a way that you can kind of share the screens, use the same keyboard, trackpad to maneuver between the two. Did I get that right, Michael?
Yeah, so there's two different technologies. There's Universal Control is a new one, and then before that there was something called Sidecar.
Yeah.
So what Sidecar was it basically let you extend your Mac's display.
Right.
So it gave you like a funky little window on your iPad, and you can do work on the iPad or the Mac, either or, and work together. Universal Control, it literally links them. So the iPad is still an iPad, the Mac is still a Mac, but you can move your mouse. So if you're using your trackpad or your mouse, if you move it to the edge of the Mac screen, once you set it up in displays, like you can literally just move
It
your
just
mouse
jumps over,
over,
right? Yeah.
right, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden then you got that little bubble circle, and you're controlling your iPad. You can drag files back and forth. You can, and it's pretty cool. Like it's the kind of thing that, for one, it's Apple's coolest software feature in a long time. But it really opens up like a new level of productivity for the
Hmm.
iPad, in the sense that the iPad, and it still is. It kind of, we've talked about this how many times. Like it suffers from iPad OS. iPad OS hasn't given it what it really needs. It's the best tablet in the world, all of them, even the 329 one. It's the best. I would never recommend anything other than an iPad, but it's still not quite where Apple wants it to be. And this is like almost like a peak at what Apple can do, maybe with Apple Silicon, maybe with putting the M1s and the iPad Pro and the iPad Air and further refinement of the OS. How these things can all work together very seamlessly, very, very effortlessly, and really kind of elevate both workspaces, both the Mac and the iPad, while still letting them be their own devices without cluttering them with too many features.
That was exactly the point that Johnny Evans had mentioned. He's been using it, and he
Hmm.
raved about it
It's
because
good, really
it
good.
works with his workflow. He said it's made him much more productive and efficient because he uses a Mac and he uses an iPad, and now he can kind of go back and forth
Yeah,
without having
and
to change what you're using to input, whether it's a trackpad or keyboard or whatever.
you don't have to, like, I do it all the time. We email ourselves a file, or we'll use universal copy and paste, or we'll airdrop something. Like all the stuff is there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you have to know it's there. You gotta consciously remember to use it. And it takes effort and energy and all this stuff. This is because completely and totally like, whoa, this is so cool. Like it's just as Craig Federighi's demo was. It's very cool, very easy, super simple to set up, and it works with a lot of iPads, like most of them. Most of the
Yeah.
ones released in like the last 5 or 7 years. So it's a very, very cool feature. I almost wish they would have made it limited it to the iPad Pro. So like we knew it was a pro feature, but
Gotcha.
I'm sure someone who has an iPad mini doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, I know we're probably getting late on time, but I just wanted to mention the other thing in 15.4, the Face ID with a mask. It works.
Yeah, it
It
does.
really works.
That's
very
helpful.
well.
Now Apple tells you you're a little more insecure, I guess, and you
Yeah,
have
they don't tell you how much insecure, if you will, unsecure, less secure.
I
slightly
feel like
less.
I feel like it's the kind of thing like maybe like now my brother could unlock my phone if he's wearing a mask or like
I don't know what it is just a quick overview. You do have to do another scan. You
Mhm.
don't have to do a scan while wearing a mask. But what it does is this newer scan
Mhm.
focuses on your eyes.
It does more up,
Yeah.
top part of your head.
So you're doing another scan, but you're really focusing here. And if you wear glasses, you're gonna have to do a second one. If you wear two sets of glasses, you're gonna have to do a third one because it's really getting that top part of your face. So it's just ignoring
Right.
down here. Once it recognizes that you're wearing a mask, it goes to that second face. It's completely seamless. Like there's no like unlock with Apple Watch. You knew
Mhm.
that was happening.
Yeah.
It buzzed your wrist. It took an extra second or two. This is just instantaneous. You don't even know it's happening. And so for your thing, Juliet, I don't think it's anywhere near that
Okay.
unsecure. I mean, remember, Touch ID was 1 in 50,000. Face ID is 1 in a million.
Right.
Let's say it's in between those two. It's still way better than
Okay.
Touch ID, and it's still very secure.
Okay. So just because someone looks exactly like you,
Yeah,
the
all
distance
right, so
between
how
their
about-
eyes,
I've
eyes to
tried it.
forehead.
Like my son couldn't unlock my phone. Like it's not like
Michael, I hate to tell you,
familial-
you don't look like a
familial stuff.
10-year-old, dude. That's not gonna. It's not, you're
Says
young,
you.
not that young.
Certainly useful. So
Yeah.
that's good. I'll have to try that out.
Yeah,
Well-
it's a feature that should have been here about 18 months ago, but it's definitely
Given
welcome.
Well,
what's
it's here
going
now.
on, we may be
We
back. to masks
we might be
before we
back,
know it.
but
Yeah.
it would have been even if we are, it would have been super helpful last year.
Yeah, for sure,
Correct.
for sure.
Truly.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. I think a lot of good info here. I know we covered a lot. So I really appreciate you both coming on and chatting with me. And thank you all so much for watching this episode of Today in Tech. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, you can head over to our YouTube channel, IDG Tech Talk. You can subscribe to the channel, like the video over there, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every single time we post a new video. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, whatever that you want to let me know, please do let me know in the comments below on YouTube, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.